Good evening, friends, and welcome to yet another session from Mindful Living. We really appreciate your taking out time and joining the session today. Your joining the session today is a clear demonstration of your intention to become better parents. And I promise you that we shall do our best to make this investment of time really worth your while. All these sessions of mindful living are guaranteed to elevate your quality of life. And our sessions this month are, are dedicated to celebrating Children's Day. Our first session in the month of November was about connecting with your inner child, about being joyful. When we were children, we were very happy, but as we grow up, somewhere we lose touch with the inner child. We suppress our feelings. And in that process, we lose the source of our creativity. So this is a very powerful workshop that we did last weekend. And in case you would like to catch the recording of this session, please click on the link that we are sharing in the chat and you can watch the recording of the session. Today's session is very pertinent. It is about teen nutrition. I clearly remember during my years of growing up, I would keep asking my mom, "Mummy, bhook lagi hai, mummy, bhook lagi hai, khana de do, kuch khane ke liye de do." I would keep pestering her. At that time, I didn't realize, why I would feel so hungry all the time. But today, thanks to Pariksha, I realize that during the teenage years, we feel hungry because we are growing up. There are so many changes that are taking place in our body. Our need for nutrition goes up. Those days in 70s and 80s, when we were growing up, we didn't have the challenge of junk food. But today, this is a big challenge. And whenever teenagers feel hungry, they tend to take to junk food, which is easily available and also in vogue. And to talk about teen nutrition, we have a celebrity nutritionist with us, Pariksha Rao, my dear friend and founder of Nuvi. Pariksha is very, very passionate about taking the message of healthy eating to the AYA segment, adolescents and young adults. And it is her mission to raise the health quotient of the country by providing right nutritional advice to the young adults. She is a highly accomplished nutritionist, done her MSc from Lady Irwin College. She's also a mindfulness expert and a diabetes educator from the International Diabetes Federation. She is now deploying machine learning and artificial intelligence to really scale up and make the nutrition advice available to all at a very affordable rate, to make it really affordable for people. So Pariksha, we are very happy to have you with us as a speaker today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, and I can't wait to be interacting with the wonderful parents here.
Thank you, Pariksha. Friends, some of you are joining us for the first time. In case this is your first session with Mindful Living, please type FT in the chat box. Please type FT in the chat box if this is your first session of Mindful Living that you are attending. Thank you, Sheetal. Is there anyone else who is attending our session for the first time? Friends, for the benefit of those who are joining our session for the first time, I'll take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Ashish Kumar, and I'm the founder of Mindful Living. I started Mindful Living in 2018 with a mission to help 1 million working professionals lead healthier, happier, and wealthier lives. Prior to starting Mindful Living, I worked in the corporate sector in senior management roles with organizations like Tata AIG, Future Generali, Marsh, HCL, and Healthcare at Home. During the years of my working in the corporate sector, I saw at close quarters how stressed the people working in the corporates are, and how this stress is taking a toll on their health, happiness, and well-being. Being a certified mindfulness teacher myself, I thought the message of living consciously needs to be taken to the corporates. And with that mission, I started Mindful Living. And over the years, we have got very good response. We have conducted over 300 sessions covering over 10,000 employees in leading organizations like Aditya Birla Group, IBM, EXL, Swiggy, Airbnb, Schneider, Signify, HDFC Life, Kotak Life, and many more. The session today is being organized as a part of the Mindful Living Community Initiative. Our community initiative started in April 2020 at the onset of COVID, when few of my friends reached out to me and requested me to conduct mindfulness meditation sessions for them to help them deal with the stress and anxiety that the first lockdown was causing. So over a weekend, few of my friends got together. We conducted a session on mindfulness meditation. One thing led to the other. And today we have become a vibrant community of over 3,000 people who connect every weekend to discuss about how to live consciously, how to eat consciously, how to be happy, how to become wealthier. In case you would like to be a part of this awesome community, please click on the link that we are sharing in the chat and join our community. It's a very safe space for people to come and explore how to live consciously. We do not encourage any religious or political posts, no good morning, good night messages. So it's a very safe space for, and everybody respects everybody else. So please take this opportunity and join our community. Before I invite Pariksha to take the session forward, just a few rules. Please keep your camera on, as it helps the speaker have good interaction, and use the reactions button in the Zoom toolbar to clap, show thumbs up, show love whenever Pariksha shares something that resonates with you. And please stay till the end of the session, as Pariksha has got an excellent offer, especially for the Mindful Living community. And on that note, Pariksha, over to you. Welcome to the session.
Thank you so much. Thanks again. Wonderful community. I know I've been a part of this as soon as Ashish started this, and I have learned so much. And I think for our parents, we need a platform where we can share without any fear of being judged or labeled. So it's a beautiful platform where we parents can have interaction with different parents and understand that we all are sailing in the same boat, and we have a shoulder to lean on and get the right advice. So I'm really a big fan of the community, and that I have got a second opportunity today to talk to you about nutrition. We are talking about teens and their nutrition needs and how we can make things easier for them at home. So without any further delay, I'll quickly try and share my screen. I like to interact a lot. So anytime you have a question, please feel free to ask, though we have at the end some time allotted for question answer, but I really want this session to be fun and interactive. So please feel free to ask anytime you have any questions in between as well. I hope you all can see my screen now.
Yes, yes, Pariksha.
Great.
You may want to make it full screen, Pariksha.
Yes. So we are talking about teenagers, and I think I don't have a definition. Nobody has a definition, right, as such. So when you're too young for half the things you want to do, and you're too old to do the other half, right? So when I talk to them, so I'm a mother to a preteen. I have 5 teenagers in my family, my nephews and my nieces. So I keep hearing this, right? We are not adults, but you're not kids. Right. And we're trying to find a place in this world for ourselves, not for our parents, not for our friends, but ourselves. So that's where I keep listening to this. And I really respect the fact that we need to respect this age group, right? They want to make decisions. All they need is support from us, and a right and wrong, and a kind of a backbone structure support rather than yes and no. So I find it very convenient when I talk to them about food and nutrition, and I try and listen to their inputs before I give them a plan. So that's where I say teenagers, it's very difficult for us to give adult related advice or kids related advice because they don't fall in either category. So it's sorry, I think I'll just make this smaller. Is that okay for everyone? Yeah. So adolescence is a transitional stage for physical as well as psychological development. And today I can't leave the emotional development that's happening aside, right? And it generally occurs during the period from puberty to adulthood. So physiologically understanding, there are a lot of hormone changes that happen. That's why the teenagers actually go through a lot of changes. And because the body is going through so many changes, it is quite overwhelming for them to adjust to these changes. And thankfully, today's day and age, they feel free to talk about their issues. So you might be finding it a little bit more overwhelming that they're concerned about everything. Whereas I see a difference from our generation to this generation, that we are just making them feel comfortable to talk about their feelings around their body image, about their skin, about their hair, about their eating and other stuff. So World Health Organization defines adolescent at any period between ages 10 to 19. Adolescence comprises about 243 million adolescents in our country itself, right? So it's about 21% of the population that we are talking about. The changes that take place during teen years, these are the time where we need to understand their physiological changes, their psychological changes, the social changes that they're expecting, and the emotional changes, right? So understanding that puberty onset has a lot of stuff that's happening on their body, but they're interacting with other not adults, not kids, counterpart from different regions, different cultures. They are interacting a lot on social media today, right? Digital detox is a must have for them, according to me. And there is good amount of emotional, right and wrong that they are going through in today's day and age. So we need to understand a teenager as a whole before even we put a lifestyle practice or a coaching in place. Understanding that the growth spurts are going to take care of, average age of onset of puberty sadly has reduced. So in the last 2 years, what we realized, because of the pandemic, when children were sitting at home, the physical activity came down, and the menarche for girls has actually been very, very early. Earlier, average age of 11 to 12, it has been reduced from 8 to 10 years also. On the other side, for a boy child, the puberty is delayed because of the muscle mass, and the growth, bone development has been delayed because they could not be exposed to that kind of physical activity. And these both things are quite concerning when it comes to their adulthood and their adult health. So for us, I think we have a higher responsibility because we have experienced the COVID era or the pandemic, and our children have not been exposed to the physical activity and the sunlight that they should have. I think for our generation, it's very important that we take a little extra care for their nutrition and lifestyle, so to prevent a complication that can arise later. Changes in body structure, I'm seeing quite a bit of malnutrition related problems, which are both sides, right? There is undernutrition that has happened. So I see children or boys actually not growing the right muscle mass, so they're low on their birth weight, low on their weight. On the other side, girls, because they're reaching early puberty or early menarche, they're gaining quite a bit of weight. So these things we might have to balance and take an early initiative and make it a happy, healthy experience rather than a overwhelming one when they join college, and when their work life becomes much serious and they really can't focus on their lifestyle. So we can still dedicate some time today and make that change to happen. Understanding that they are developing that's their sexual identity, they are growing their intellectual bits, and they're learning to control impulses. So I talk to quite a bit of teenagers today, and they tell me that we don't understand at times. If I'm talking to them, why did you eat the last slice of pizza? They say, we don't know. You were hungry? No. Why did you eat it? It was in front of me. So there is so much that happens that they, in front of the TV, they don't realize they're hungry while talking to their friends. So the emotional and the mind-body connect is, I think, broken somewhere. And we really need to make them understand how to bring that connect back. Emotional and social changes, like I said, Sometimes it's difficult for us to understand why my preteen or teen is behaving in a certain way. I talk to my daughter, some days her mood is good, some days her mood is bad, and the same situation she's not able to deal with. Then I realized that there are so much hormonal changes happening, the estrogen and testosterone balance is going. Then we have to give them a little space and let them vent out their feelings. So the good idea will be to understand that it's not the child. We shouldn't question the child. We shouldn't question ourselves. Half of the time I see a parent in guilt that what am I doing wrong? Nobody's doing wrong. It's a physiologic change. We went through it. Our kids are going through it now. There are many factors that affect puberty. Yes, there are modifiable ones and there are non-modifiable ones. So the modifiable factors that we can work on are nutrition, physical activity, stress, and sleep. Whereas genetics, what genes we have passed on to them, their hormones, they are coming from their genetic composition or their fat muscle mass or the fat percentage at the time of birth, as well as the environmental factors. To some extent, we cannot manage, right? We can only control what we have in our hand. That's why the lifestyle practices is what we can focus on. Again, understanding that there are certain things, for example, if a child is born with lactose intolerance, over a period of years, as they grow older, sometimes they become better digesting that lactose or milk, or sometimes they don't, because there is so much happening at the physiologic level, we really can't predict. But today, with advances, with testing, with genetic testing and microbiome testing, we can actually say whether a child will start to adapt to a certain type of food or not. So we can put precision nutrition plans for them and make their journey much easier rather than trial and error and, hurting their gut every time we try and make an effort. So puberty, bad news, your voice is going to crack and you'll get acne. As it is, the child is thinking. So there are two things that happen, right? If a child is growing early, the peers or somebody comes back and says, hey, you are growing too fast, right? If a boy child has not developed, little bit of beard or, little bit of hair growth here and there, or has not been becoming bulky in nature as they're growing, then like you are a child. So they have to face so much day in and day out from society, from school, from peers, from the person that they like. There is so much that is happening in their head. We really need to give them a break and listen to them and make a deal with them that lifestyle choices cannot be compromised, and here is why we want it. So the hormones that are going to be responsible are very, very important to understand. If a girl child or a girl has reached puberty before 8 years of age, make sure you have discussed this with the pediatrician. If a boy child has not been able to gain weight after 12 years of age, make sure you discuss with the pediatrician or a clinical nutritionist. I will drop my number in the group as well. I'll be more than happy if you have any questions or any support that is needed there. So these are the hormones that I was talking to you about. I'm not going to bore you with all the science here, but again, there is so much happening that when we say that a child is born, that time till 2 years of age, their metabolism is super high. That's the highest metabolism or the growth that we see in our entire life. Then is the age of teenage, right? Your muscle mass is going to become double. Your bone mass needs to become double. Your body weight will be another 25% till the time you reach your entire life. So here, so much is happening at the physiological level. So the child will demand food, and it is a good thing. But how to differentiate between a normal hunger and a digital hunger is what we will be talking about, right? It's not that a child has eaten 4 or 5 chapatis, which is their need, a boy child at the age of 13 to 14, and eaten a bowl of rice or whatever snack they wanted to have, and still demands for food. You just need to get them to sit on a table and understand whether they're hungry or they're thirsty. So that's where you need to just be a little bit more conscious on whether it is digital hunger or it is hunger. So that's where we will be focusing on. So why their nutritional requirements are very, very high. Like I mentioned, at least 40% of their adult weight at this particular time. Growth spurt is super high. So you see them, their height and their weight actually having a very steep graph, and almost 50% of the skeletal muscle mass is formed at this age. That's why calcium and iron are the most important nutrients. Not that I'm not talking about energy, protein, and things like that, but calcium and iron are the most important nutrients that we need to make sure that they get right in their diet. Some of the RDAs, we can set a personalized RDA if any one of you want for your children, but the idea is to understand whether they're getting the right amount for their right age. That's why even National Institute of Nutrition or Indian Council of Medical Research has, if you can look 10 to 12 years, there is a different demand, 13 to 15 years, there is a different demand, there is a different demand for a girl and to boy because their development is completely different. So making sure that the precision nutrition or a personalized nutrition is offered to your child is very, very important. That's why I keep saying teen nutrition is not adult nutrition. The nutrients in a teenager's diet, proteins are of greatest importance. Like I said, because their muscle mass, their body composition, everything is changing, right? So it's very important that we try and understand that how we are going to make sure that they get this. So I'm sure in our daily diet, if we are trying to incorporate dals and chicken and fish for a vegetarian child, at least rajma, chana, chola, lobia, these are very, very important things that we need on a day-to-day basis, right? So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there has to be a portion of protein, which is a must-have. It can be a cup of milk, it can be a cup of curd, it can be boiled eggs, any egg preparation for that matter, and eggs can be a very good source for them. So if you do not mind including eggs in your diet, that's my first prescription. If you are a vegetarian, if you are a vegans, then definitely make sure some kind of a dal protein is there. Like a besan chila can be done. Some kind of a oats and chia smoothie can be done, which is very high in protein. And then make sure that every meal there is some source of dal or pulses or legumes or soya is must. Fats, again, when we say fats, the adolescents or the teenagers that come back to me, they say, no, we don't want fat because, we are very conscious. So that's not the case. Healthy fats are a must have, right? Because the body is going through such a dramatic change on multiplication of cells and muscle mass and bone mass. Your bones need energy to multiply. Your muscle cells need energy. And to concentrate energy, fat is the right thing. For example, 1 gram of chapati or carbohydrate gives 4 kilocalories, whereas fat gives you 9 kilocalories, so more than double. And for this particular age, healthy fats is a must-have. So when I say healthy fats, try and incorporate chia seeds, try and incorporate 1 teaspoon of ghee. You can incorporate homemade butter. You can incorporate a good amount of avocado. You can incorporate any kind of homemade chia laddu or nuts laddu, handful of nuts in a day. That will take care of the essential fatty acids that they need. On the other side, I'll be talking about omega-3 fatty acids also, which is very important for their brain development. And we all know 70% of our brain is omega-3 fat, and we have to consume it through our diet. Our body doesn't make that kind of fat. So when we are seeing a child struggling with learning, or we are understanding the child is not able to absorb information, make sure you check their omega-3 levels, you check their B12 levels and their vitamin D levels. It's not child that is not able to cope up. It's the physiology that is not letting them learn. And today I see quite a bit of pressure coming from parents that my child used to score well, now this learning capability is coming down. Maybe it's going to the physiologic level. Maybe we need to look into their nutrition and lifestyle. And then I see a good response once 3 months of supplementation is done, or once we fix their diet. So learning is dependent on certain nutrients because it's brain and brain and brain. So we need to make sure that the brain nutrition is right. And then making sure that the vitamins and minerals are good in our diet. So again, follow a rule of 5. At least 3 cups of fruits and vegetables, 2 fruits every day, no juices, please. I've been getting a lot of questions that can I give juices to my child? If a child is going and playing and has been spending about 1 hour or more running around, not just watching the sport, that time, yes, juice, absolutely, they need to replenish their glycogen. Before that, no need. Prefer a whole fruit with the entire fiber intact. That is far better on nutrients than just a sugar in a glass. So not needed. But yes, if you're traveling, if children are in a party, or they want to have a get together, definitely juice is a little lesser culprit than aerated beverages like Coke and Pepsi and things like that. That's doing harm at a completely different level altogether. On the other side, we need to understand that the most important nutrients like calcium, omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, and vitamin A, they are there every day in their diet, right? So like I said, simple thing, any nutrition source, any nutrient source which is good in protein is perfect in calcium. So our worry of calcium can be actually let go of if we make sure the child is getting enough protein. So we don't have to worry about these minerals. If you make sure that the calories and proteins for the child is coming from the right food sources, we can actually not think about calcium. So make sure every meal your child is getting one portion of protein, like I mentioned, and he or she will meet their calcium requirements. Try and include dark green leafy vegetables as well. Try and include ragi, try and include sesame seeds, try and include rajgira, wonderful source of calcium, vegan source of calcium. So these kind of things can be added to their diet. Zinc, another very important nutrient for their skin, for their health, for their immunity, for their learning capabilities. So make sure that handful of nuts is a part of their daily routine. So a simple thing can be done that, either before a child sitting in the bus or going to school, you just give them a handful of nuts. There is nothing better than that. So anytime you're thinking, I'm busy, I don't know what to make for a bus snack, a handful of nuts and we are sorted. It can be makhana, it can be figs, it can be dates, it can be mixed nuts, anything. There is nothing healthier than that. Of course, please make sure that your child is not allergic to nuts, any of the nuts. And if the child is showing some allergic response, please do not give it to them till the time you get the child's gut tested, and make sure that you try and completely eliminate nuts from their diet. On the other side, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, very, very important for their immunity, for their eye health. A dramatic prevalence rate came to my notice yesterday that in pandemic, 81% of children in this age got specs. Right, it's very higher number, and that too because children attended online classes. The exposure to the blue screen and blue light was so high. It's really dramatic. And if we want to stop, and sad part is that in teenage years, if the eye number or the eyesight has become weaker, till the time the growth spurt is happening due to the hormones, it's going to get worse. So all the more reason that we control that, we try and incorporate good amount of vitamin A rich stuff, which can have lutein and zeaxanthin. These are the two important antioxidants that protects our eyes and can actually prevent that number to going worse. So carrots, corn, dark green leafy vegetables, peppers, yellow pepper, red pepper, green pepper, these are the things which will give you these kind of antioxidants, and you can make sure that child enjoys them in a way that they love to eat. So they want a pizza, please give them a cauliflower crust pizza with a lot of peppers and corn and everything on top, and I'm sorted and they are happy. So something like that fun can be done where the nutrients are being met. So 5 thumb rules that you can very simple to remember, just 5 on your fingertips, plenty of fruits and vegetables. So your diet planning should begin with what vegetables and what fruits. So any fruit is fine, no problem with any fruit. Let them enjoy their mangoes and chiku and custard apple, whatever they enjoy, no problem. No juices, that's it. Any seasonal vegetable is a good one. Try and procure your vegetables from local farmers. Maximum nutrition offering comes from locally procured food because your soil is ready for that, and your antioxidants that are coming are there in the nature, and the soil is giving back to us. So make sure if you can manage, have a locally procured fruits and vegetables. That will be the best. Carbohydrates, it is a myth that you need to reduce carbohydrates for your teenagers. Please don't do that. Like I mentioned, they really need quick sources of energy when they're playing and coming back. The whole day when they have attended 8-9 hours of school, when they come back, their brain is deprived of that glucose. So that's why you see an afternoon crash by the time they reach home, right? Their sugar and their energy levels are coming down. So do a very good healthy carbohydrate pick at that time. So don't pick up breads, pick up a whole wheat roti. Don't pick up just rice, make sure it is a fried rice with vegetables. So 50% of vegetables and 50% of rice, that's the best carbohydrate mix that you can offer, right? And then milk and dairy products, you can go for non-fat, you can go for a full fat, there is no problem with it. A lot of children today are becoming a little sensitive. I'm not so sure why, what has changed in the dairy industry today suddenly, or we are not able to digest it. So they are becoming quite lactose intolerant. So you make sure that you understand if your child is getting any kind of a symptom or any kind of discomfort, you get them tested, right? We put an elimination diet in place. That means 3 weeks we take the milk and milk products out, and if the gut issues or the bloating and nausea comes down for a child, that means they're becoming sensitive to dairy. But very important, that how will you meet the child's calcium and protein requirement if you're taking away dairy, which is not impossible, but you definitely need some support from an expert to make sure that you put these food groups and the exchanges back into the plant so that they get the right nutrients. And of course, foods that are very high on trans fat, like processed food, packaged food, not needed. Protein sources must have, like I said, every meal has to have a protein, and make sure fruits and vegetables are met, and you don't go for so-called healthy products from market. These are the nutrient split that you can see. You all are aware of the food pyramid. So this is the kind of interaction that we have, so parents talking about what you are, what you eat, right? And then the answers, I'm sure we all have teens at our home, right? So that's where I'm saying that their understanding of this particular aspect is very different. They are just developing logical thinking. They're understanding what you say can mean literally what you were saying. So be very, very transparent with them, very, very clear with them that what is expected and how you all can achieve at the same time. So these are the factors that are affecting. Peer pressure is the biggest one for me. Body shaming is another one. And then what we eat at home ourselves is going to have an impact, right? So when I sit in front of a laptop and eat my lunch while I'm working, the child thinks it's normal to sit in front of the TV and enjoy my meal, right? And then the answer comes, you enjoyed your meal or you had your meal. Why can't I sit on my laptop and watch something and eat? So it's all about understanding that, how our behavior actually is impacting their choices. So breakfast is the most important bit. Please make sure they don't skip breakfast. If they're not comfortable eating in bus, there is a lot of things that can be put into place. If they're not comfortable eating very early, how do you replenish that energy and that nutrition early in the morning? There are a lot of things that can be done. A glass of smoothie is good. A cup of oats is good. One fruit is also good, whatever they want, but early breakfast is a must have for improved cognition. So we cannot let them go on an empty stomach. One thing, it reduces their immunity. Given the current situation post-pandemic, immunity is of prime importance. So make sure they eat something before they leave the house. Calorie deficit is not needed. So there is a lot you will see on my platform. Also, we talk a lot about fad diets and teenagers. Please do not accept any kind of an influencer-driven marketing gimmick where they say we will help your teenager lose weight with keto diet and things like that. I'm getting enough amount of data globally that it is not meant for Indian gut, for Indian teenagers. So please be a little bit wary of the expert that you are trusting and not the influencer or a quack. So just be very, very careful on those lines. Nutrient deficits mean it's not just about a child not being able to grow height or right on the weight. It's about the other development factors as well. So if the child is low on hemoglobin, we all know about adolescent anemia, right? It's very, very common, and that has a complete impact. So we participated in a study in where child's hemoglobin levels were actually directly correlated to their cognitive performance or the way they scored in their classes, right? So sometimes it's not about study. Something is happening at the physiologic level, and we really need to sit down and understand, can I help my kid with more scientific possibilities of understanding what is happening in their physiology and how I can bring in better lifestyle practices. Just keep an eye on their brittle nails, bleeding gums. Very often tooth decay is a sign of calcium deficiency or over sugar consumption. They are listless. Frequent mouth ulcers is a very good reflection of poor gut health. So anytime your child is developing quite a bit of ulcers or sores around the mouth or lip or inside in the oral cavity, please make sure you check with them about their bowel habits. Are they clearing their bowel every day? Because this is the core to their health. If the gut health gets compromised at this age, it takes quite a bit of time to bring it back to balance. Poor vision, dim light, they're not able to see clearly, frequent flus, allergies, falling sick very often. They are the signs and symptoms that you need to keep an eye on. And if that is the case, please make sure that you reach out to an expert and get a personalized plan in place. Simple way to understand their healthy plate. Like I said, at least 25% of your plate has to be coming from protein. It can be anything: dal, rajma, chana, chola, milk product. For non-vegetarians, chicken or fish 2 to 3 times per week, and eggs every day. 25% can be carbohydrate. It can be anything which is made from rice, which is made from oats, which is made from wheat, which is made from roots and tubers. But make sure potatoes and sweet potatoes fall in this category. So you do not consider them as vegetables because they are not, right? They fall in carbohydrate category, right? And then make sure your 50% of your plate is filled with seasonal fruits and vegetables. Make sure you give fruits after 1 hour so that their glucose load is suddenly not very high. But once in a while, they want to enjoy their fruit with their meal, like a pineapple raita or, some chaat and anar and things like that. Absolutely good. And healthy fats, like I mentioned. So Ayurveda today, there is quite a bit of demand, and I see amazing results with little bit of scientific approach. So ashwagandha and brahmi are the two amazing ingredients when it comes to concentration. So if your child is not able to concentrate, is easily distracted, or there is so much happening around the child, maybe it is a good idea that every morning you can try this with a cup of milk or just with water. And believe me, a good quality ashwagandha, 1 pinch is more than enough. Right? Amlaki, amla, triphala, these are amazing things coming from our kitchen, actually making the medicinal benefits. And these are far better to reach out than a medicinal or an allopathic approach. But again, understanding these are preventive measures. If a child has low immunity, I would like to test their vitamins and minerals profile. And if they're at a clinical deficiency, means their body is really crying for help, that time they might have to go on a supplement and then replenish the stores as a daily eating habit through good Ayurvedic products, right? And then ginger, alpha can be wonderful sources to add to digestion and aid your any bloating issues and things like that. Shatavari is another wonderful. It has been proven to take care of, symptoms of PCOD and pain and menstrual cramps and things like that. So wonderful things that we can actually use from our kitchen to bring good nutritional, functional food benefit to them. Every day there is another concern. Today, maximum of my children who are with us at Newbie are coming to us because they're not able to handle their acne issues. And it is so it actually impacts their confidence. So I was like, if you have acne, it will settle in a week or 2. But they were like, we don't feel confident. And they have a real issue, right? For us, it might be just acne. 2 months down the line, it's going to settle and things like that. But for them, it's actually demotivating. It's killing their confidence that how do I go and present in my school and things like that. Kids pick on me and things like that. So it's a major issue for them. We say it's okay because it's not a serious concern, but for them, it's actually a very serious concern. So 3 things that you can try for acne for them: make sure they're eating healthy fats. Do not give them a fat-free diet. The biggest myth I see is that cut fat because acne is produced from fat. It's actually the other way around. Your skin pores need to have that healthy fat for suppleness and the skin health, right? Second thing, make sure their diet has good amount of omega-3 and make sure their diet has good amount of protein. Say bye-bye to processed food, say bye-bye to McDonald's, say bye-bye to KFC. You do that and you see how your skin and acne reduces. So these 3 tips, if you try and incorporate, and of course, water intake. So make sure the skin is hydrated well in body and is clean from toxins. Half of the time, acne is correlated with constipation. So if a child has constipation or a chronic constipation, I see mouth ulcers and acne very often. So understanding that your gut is clear, your skin will be clear. So I generally have a reflection of somebody's skin to their gut. So I don't put very strict, very expensive gut microbiome testing. If I know that skin is good, yes, there are other factors that can impact skin. Stress has equal amount of impact, and stress will impact your gut and your gut will impact your skin and hair. So just understanding that, we can give them good amount of support. Same goes for hair. They develop quite a bit of dandruff issues, hair fall. They lack luster because right now with the hormone changes, all these changes are very, very common. But we need to understand where we need help. And at least 20 to 25% people do need a medical intervention so that we can reverse the process. And the hormone health is not good, we give them help early. Body odor, very common with changing hormones. Estrogen brings this kind of a problem for girls very often, and they are dealing with underweight or overweight. And understanding that this time, if they can manage eating and developing a good relationship with food, at least they don't have to trouble when they go to college and they are in a very full project submission mode, presentation mode. This is the time where they can actually spare about 30 minutes for lifestyle. Don't worry about this. Proper hygiene. So next part that I just would want to leave with you is the 3 I's that I believe works wonders, right? So introspect, think about your own choices, inculcate, lead by example, and invest. We understand that teenagers, they need privacy, they need their time, but they definitely need our support. And I'm a fan of Indian society, Indian community building structure where we all are there together, right? So we need to really invest in them. So when we say, sorry. Yeah, so when I'm saying introspect, it's very important to understand, just take a second and sit down and see, do I get bored eating home food frequently? So when your child is asking, I'm sure they've seen us ordering from Swiggy and Zomato when we are in not good mood. Hey, I'm not in mood, I'm tired, I'm going to order, right? So the child says that I'm also tired, I want to order. Am I more inclined towards ordering? Do I rush through my meals? Like I said, if I'm sitting in front of a laptop working and I'm gobbling my food down, that's what they learn. Do salads and fruits happen rarely? I mean, I just ask you, just think, how often do you consume salads and you give preference to fruits over any processed food stuff? Do I prefer fried snacks? So every Sunday, do I demand for puris and bhatures and chaats and things like that? So again, the child relates all these things with happy memories, and that's why junk becomes related to happy memory, and that's why they taste good, because it is associated with happy memory and it goes deep in our brain, and that's why we demand more junk, because maybe it's a happy family time. So we need to think at table, if we are enjoying a piece of broccoli soup, how our emotions are, and if we are enjoying McDonald's, how our emotions are. And that's the biggest thing that we need to sit down today and understand. Why can't we make sweet potato fries or a dal, chawal, sabzi as a happening food? Why do we have to bring happy emotions? Wow, thumbs up, and wow, burgers, and wow, fries. Why can't that wow factor replace our, junk with our healthy food on our table? So that's very, very important. Inculcating a good habit. Please avoid, if you want your child not to be eating in front of TV, we have to avoid that first, right? Start demanding healthy snacks for yourself. Then the child will learn the same thing. More additional or traditional food on the table, definitely you can, right? But again, make sure every day if you prepare a separate food for your kid, that will become a routine. And one day when you are tired and you don't have the strength, like I was discussing with Ashi, that then we become Ma Durga, right? Because I don't have time, I can't fix 10 different things. And it's really, really difficult for me to make separate food per day. So my general thumb rule is that 9 months of age, your child needs to eat from family pot. If that habit has been formed, believe me, you don't have to cook separately for your child. Yes, someday child is not in a mood to sit and have roti and sabzi. Please chop that roti into thin noodles, stir fry them with all the vegetables, and give it to him or her with a cup of curd or a smoothie, whatever the child enjoys. Even a cup of chocolate milk is not a problem after that, right? But again, it is once in a while. Please do not let that become a habit, because then you don't have a spare time for yourself as well. Exercising is a big de-stressor. If you're going for a walk, try and drag your kid with you and make sure you have a family time at that time as well. Otherwise, kids should play with their age children. They should socialize and make sure that, the right company is there, right? Because once they come back and say that she makes pasta every night and she makes, noodles every night. So you need to sit with your child and talk about your family eating practices and say, that's fine. Their family is different. Our family is different. This is what we practice and we need to practice this. This is healthier. So sit and talk to them rather than saying no. So they do not do good with the word no. So we can always sit with them, talk to them, have their opinion on the table, and as a family come up with a solution. Again, moderation is the key. We need to really tell them that if they're hungry, they need to slow down, have some water. And it's absolutely fine that some days they're super hungry because their hormone surges happen in growth spurt, and some days they're normal hungry or not hungry also. Absolutely fine. Also, if your child is demanding food and the child is not able to keep up on the growth chart, or if the child is less than 10 years of age and you see the child is eating fine but still not gaining weight, make sure you remember their deworming history. If you've not dewormed them till the age of 5, it'll be a good idea to sit down and make sure that everything is good. And child can be only high on metabolism, so nothing to worry, but it can be a scientific way of looking into it. Just remember whether you dewormed them or not. Otherwise, reach out and we'll help you out. Then make sure that mindful eating can be encouraged, right? When you have a food in front of you, try and incorporate their inputs, right? So when I'm cooking a normal Indian meal, or if I'm cooking a dal, I will definitely invite my kid and see how that dal is done, right? Then she'll say, why can't you add some crunchy onion on top? You cut it and you add it. So then they understand that how am I going to make this food yummy for myself? Then the ownership sets in, then the decision making sets in, and then they enjoy the food with us. So maybe a little bit of more happy relationship with ingredients itself, exploring the ingredients together, taking them to the supermarket with you. I know hardly of any one of us also go to supermarket, but that can be a good activity over the weekend if you're planning to step out. Please avoid body shaming. I generally recommend that the family members or the families to label a kid as thin or fat. I know it's very common in our families, ye mota, ye patli hai, ye stick hai. It really leaves a very bad impact on their entire motivation, confidence, development. So if you can take that stand for your kids, with you, they will share more, they will listen to more food options, and they will work much better. And that's where the mindfulness comes, that health is not just my weight. Weight is only on the weighing scale. How I'm healthy inside is more important. So take a completely weight neutral approach towards their health. It is not about weight at this particular age. Right weight, very important. I'm not going to deny that, but it's not their way to perceive their health. It's not. So please make sure that you try and provide that kind of a secure environment for them where they're not judged or labeled for their weight. And making them understand that if they are physically active today and making healthier lifestyle choices, what brings to them, right? So on our application, maybe 4-5 months down the line, you'll be able to see how a kid is happy when they reach their ideal body weight, right? Or when the parent and the kid is making the right choices with them. So it's very important to have that happiness as the most important component, not just the weight. So make sure that that is practiced. So that's it from me. And I think I'm going to stop here and take some questions. Yes, I have spoken a lot. Let me know if I can answer some of your questions.
Sure, Pariksha. Such an awesome session, and we have been getting many positive feedback in the chat and on my WhatsApp, and so here we have Punita saying thank you so much. And before we open it up to Q&A, I'll just request everyone to fill out the feedback form. It will take you less than 30 seconds to fill out the feedback form. Your feedback is very important to us. So please do that, and we will open up the session for Q&A in a couple of minutes from now. And while you're filling out the feedback form, I'll also like to share with you that we have another awesome session lined up at 5 p.m. tomorrow, which is on handling teenage tantrums. So anybody who is struggling, and please feel free to join our community. We have shared the link earlier, and also share about our event tomorrow with your friends and family so that anybody who's handling those challenges can join the session and benefit from them. And once you have filled out the feedback form, please type FD in the chat box, feedback done, so that we know that you have filled out the feedback form, and we can open up the session for Q&A. While you're filling out the feedback form, there's one question which came, Pariksha, which is, can fresh fruit juice be given in the breakfast instead of milk? Is that okay?
Won't be my first choice. Like I said, milk still brings good amount of protein and calcium, though first thing in the morning, I don't prefer milk as well. Sorry. Juice is good amount of fructose. That fructose and sucrose, when it reaches our system, it shakes our pancreas or the organ that releases insulin, and there is a sudden surge of insulin in our body. That surge actually puts a havoc in our body, especially for teenagers, for the day's metabolism. So not a big fan of juice as first thing in the morning. Please give them an apple. Please give them a handful of nuts. If they are comfortable having something liquid, a smoothie is far better choice than a cup of juice.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Weber, for filling out the feedback form. Request others to also fill out the feedback form. Chat. Rao sir, just give me a minute. We will just get your question in. Okay. And Pariksha, there was another comment where people requested for you to show the pyramid.
Sure.
I think we're going to see the pyramid slide once again. So if you could share that.
Sure, sure. I hope my screen is visible now.
The screen is visible, Pariksha. Yeah. Okay.
So the idea is to make sure that, see, any day our base of our plate or 25% of our plate. So pyramid sometimes can get confusing. So I'm again simplifying the plate method that I discussed. It's about the maximum energy comes from these. That means 5 to 7 servings is needed for cereals, right? So visualize your plate, because 3 or 4 chapatis have to be given, or a bowl of rice with 2 to 3 chapatis. That forms our entire serving, which is giving us the entire energy for the day. But what cereals do you pick is very important. So instead of maida or instead of naans, chapatis or dosas or idlis or oats or brown rice or white rice for that matter is a good choice. What you combine this with is all the more important. So your vegetables have always to pair with your cereal. If you're trying to improve your health, if you're trying to make sure that your child is getting right amount of energy protein balance, make sure everything has double the amount of vegetables. You're preparing a fried rice, 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of vegetables have to be there, right? You're preparing a chapati, 1 bowl of palya or vegetable or any kind of seasonal vegetable, it can be anything, has to be there along with a bowl of salad. And salad can be anything interesting that a kid likes. You can give them a salsa, you can give them a fried rice, you can make a chickpea pate. So that's an amazing meal. So the days I have chola made or chana made, I boil a little extra. I make a nice patty out of it. At night, I'll make a fried rice and I'll make a nice salsa. So all my food groups are taken care of. And that's where the variety keeps kicking in. So the idea is to have this entire concept going on your plate day in and day out. And when we talk about hydration, most common questions that are here is that, can my kid or adolescent or teenager have coffee? Yes, there is no problem as long as their hormones are balanced. They don't have migraines, they don't have headaches. They can definitely enjoy a cup of coffee. There is no problem. Big cup of coffee, about 250 ml, is about 300 to 400 milligrams of caffeine. If they're restricting it to that, more than enough. So they don't have to really go and have that big, tall Starbucks cafe every day. That's not needed. Once in a day, homemade coffee they want to enjoy. Actually, it's a good kick for their system, energizes them in the morning. So no problem. But again, do not give them on an empty stomach, and make sure they replenish that dehydration that's going to set in, because it's a diuretic, with another glass of water. So they want coffee, tell them to drink 2 glasses of extra water and you are good.
Thank you. Thank you, Pariksha. I'll just address one question, which is from Rachna. What kind of sessions we have organized in the past, Rachna? I'm sharing the YouTube link. There are more than 100 sessions that you will find the recordings of. And these sessions are on themes related to health, happiness, and financial well-being. So you could connect with us on our YouTube and also join our Mindful Living community to check that out. And we have 2 questions from Sheetal and Kalyani, but before that, one quick one from Rao sir. How do you assess the health of teenagers?
Okay, wonderful. So their biggest reflection of health is their height and weight and their BMI. If I can measure their body composition, nothing like it, because the muscle mass and the fat mass is the biggest reflection on their health. If they are good on their muscle mass and lean on their fat mass, then a simple blood test where I can check their micronutrient levels and their hormone levels, that's what we do today. But because blood tests are invasive, we go with clinical signs and symptoms. So when I talk about clinical signs and symptoms, we simply ask the teenager, how is the energy levels? We check their hair and their skin and their nails, because that's a reflection of micronutrient deficiencies for me. We check their gut health by understanding how they digest food, what they enjoy, and we check their bowel habits. So we come up with a score with all these variables that I just mentioned. And if the score is above 16 and 17, that means teenager is doing good, health is good. But sometimes the score is less than 10 also, then we really need to sit down, make sure that a precision nutrition plan or a lifestyle coaching plan is put in place, and that's where we help them.
Thank you for that question, Pariksha. There is a request from Mr. Rao for your phone number.
I'll put it in the chat. Is that okay?
Yes, okay, sure. So we will have it for you, Rao sir. And Sheetal, would you like to go ahead with your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. Good evening, sir, and good evening, Pariksha.
Hi, good evening.
I'm sorry for the video. There is some issue going on with the technology. I don't know what it is.
No problem.
And I don't have kids around to take care of it.
No issues.
I have an issue, Pariksha, that my son is, he'll be 12 in December, and he's not up to the mark as per his age, health-wise and height-wise. He's lacking it. I've been taking care of it, but the thing is, he's hyperactive child, and he plays a lot. 24 hours football is with him. He cannot sit at a place for more than, I think, 2 minutes. It's, I think, wo bhi zyada hai. And he needs something to keep himself indulgent, either work or playing or videos or TV or anything. And food is a secondary part in his life. Like, I have to be after him to take it. Like you said, junk is everyone's favorite nowadays. Yeah. But the proper meal is really hard for him to have. So what he's doing is, like, when he goes to school in the morning, he leaves at 6:15, because in his school he gets 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and snacks. They come in the evening. So he takes at 6:15, when he leaves, he takes a cup of milk and nuts with him in the morning. And then around 8 o'clock, they have their 8:30, they have their breakfast. So is it fine if he's taking milk and nuts in the morning when he's leaving?
Absolutely. He feels comfortable, right? He's
very much comfortable with that. But because the latest, the trend that is setting up nowadays is, which I have to listen a lot, that give him juice instead of milk.
No, that would definitely not be my choice. Nuts and milk is a wonderful thing. Milk will give him a window of nutrition for 6 to 7 hours, and so will nuts, right? And early morning, if the soaked nuts are given, it really calms the system's acid response. So they'll be wonderful. So for me, I think you are doing the right thing. For me, first thing, juice in the morning is not at all recommended, and definitely I'm not for it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. It was so nicely, Pariksha. Pariksha, I'm conscious of the fact that there are 2 minutes to 6 p.m. and you may be busy. Would you like to share with us your awesome offer for the mindful living community that we have before we invite Kalyani to ask a question?
Absolutely. So thank you for joining in today. And whenever you need a support from us, from Team Newbie, we would be very happy to offer a /50% for support your nutrition guidelines. And you can always request us. We will add you to a mindful eating group, and I think Ashish ji will help us with your contacts, or you can drop it in the group and I can take you there. Anytime you have a question, our team can guide you. All our programs that we offer for a month, 3 months, and 6 months, I'll be very, very happy to offer a 50% discount to all of you here, whosoever thinks I can be of support.
Is that mindful eating group a WhatsApp group, Pariksha?
Anji, it's a WhatsApp group.
Is it okay for you to share the link here so those who want to join can join the group?
We will do that. We will definitely do that.
Thank you. And we will now hear from Kalyani ma'am, and then we will take the question from Deepa. Provided, Sheetal, how are you on time? There are a couple of questions we have got now. how are you on time? Is it okay to extend the session by 15 more minutes?
Sure. We can
Okay.
definitely take up the questions.
Thank you. So the Kalyani ma'am, you, and then we will take the question from Deepa, which is there on chat.
Ma'am, I think you are on mute.
Kalyani, could you please unmute yourself?
Hello,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Hello. The thing is, thank you, Ashish. It is my son's school starts at about 8:30 and ends at about 4:30.
Okay.
Nothing is given by the school. So 3 dabbas need to be made. Okay. And they all are to be made before 8:30. That is 8 o'clock. And the food gets cold. Does it have its nutrient value after so many hours, really? That is number one. Number two, they like all those packaged foods because all other kids are having them. And therefore, what is the best packaged food? Because all packaged foods contain more sodium, more sugar, and more preservative. Now, we cannot just tell them we can't give you at all ever, but sometimes we have to succumb to their wishes also. How often do you think we can give them? Once in a week, once in a month, whatever it is? So that is another question. And the third thing is, can't we have a campaign against this, or can't we make the schools give something hot, maybe even rice dal, so that the children get the hot food? Because at whatever you prepare at 8 o'clock and they are eating at 12 o'clock, that is not fine according to me. What do you suggest?
Okay, I'll take your 3 questions one by one. The nutrient quality. So for next 8 hours, if the food is cooked at home and not prepared in bulk and masses, nutrition value is not going to go down. We need to take care of safety and hygiene. How you've packed that food, that's more important for me. But for 6-7 hours, nutrition value is not going to come down. Especially if you're giving fruits or something like that, make sure they are packed hygienically or prefer a finger fruit. So like you say, that's the problem for any parent today, that we have to pack 3 dabbas and send it out. Second question you mentioned was how much processed food. So to my kid, there is a deal. If you eat the fruit box that I have given you, I can give you a 100-gram pack of whatever you want. Then she chooses, right? See, we are living in a community where we want our kids to be happy, and I want them to travel throughout the world, right? They have to go out for higher studies. They have to be adaptable to their environment as well, and we can't say no, right? So you're absolutely right. Make sure the nutrition is done, and if they want to have a little bit of junk, absolutely okay. But that junk can't be poison. It can't be Doritos, it can't be MSG loaded stuff, it can't be potato chips, it can't be every day. So every day, what we can do is that I have found some mothers groups, or even on Swiggy, there are certain healthy bakes that I have figured out for my daughter. I can share that on the group itself. I'm not branding them or naming them, but as a mother, I have liked them. They do banana walnut cakes, they do zucchini cakes, they do some healthy bakes. So what happens as a mother, my guilt comes down that I was not able to do something fresh for her. I buy them, I stock them, and I plan accordingly. Every day, one snack is fruit. So one dabba is sorted for me. Then second dabba, whatever I'm preparing for my breakfast, that's the dabba that I give. Though my daughter gets a meal in schools, so touch wood, I don't have to pack 3 meals in a day, but I still give her 2 dabbas so that, if she doesn't like food in school, I still give her a backup. So simple thing can be, you can do a little bit of cutting, chopping at night. What I do, either I order a chopped CFTRI technology driven packaged, vegetables, which are good for 6 to 8 hours. You can get it at BB. So what I do, I quickly stir fry that. If I prepared rice at night, I quickly do that, and I give her a protein, which is cut pieces of paneer or something like that. So little bit of planning, and these meal plans we can help you with. I can give you a complete school routine also, because for me, the biggest challenge is to think, what am I going to make? Right? Exactly. So I think we can get that calendar down for you. I definitely feel honored to share it with any mother. And then, it's easier for us to plan accordingly. So we can share that with you as well. And you let me know what kind of likes and dislikes the kid has, South Indian, North Indian, or a blend, and we can give it to you. So some problem I can sort out for planning, and rest definitely it's your hard work and effort every morning. And
Kalyani, you are on mute.
yeah.
So I think she's having some challenge with her phone.
Yeah,
But
looks-
then I heard a mother talking to another mother, not a nutritionist talking to
that has to be there, right? Maybe I am
Yeah.
able to correlate these things
Yes,
better, or
yes.
getting into the space because I've experienced it myself. It's on one side is the child's growth and development, other side is a mother's guilt. I mean, it's a khichdi, if I can say it that way.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that lovely response. And we have a question from Deepa. My
Yeah.
son is 13 years old and he is 5 feet 10 inches and losing body fat. Any advice?
Okay, so when we say, if I can understand his current weight right now, I'll be able to give better answer to this.
Are
But
you
again,
there on the call with us, or would you like
Deepa,
to? I don't know. I think she posted the question. I'm not there on the call. No,
okay,
Deepa, you're there.
65.
Please go on.
Okay. Okay, so definitely we can work on his body weight, but if the child is losing weight, I hope it is not dramatic. And if he's lost weight, then definitely we need to sit down and understand where he's burning calories and where the body is not able to replenish muscle mass. Body fat percentage is not a concern for me. For a boy this age, lean muscle mass is definitely a concern for me. So sometimes at this age, height or the growth spurt of height is much higher. So you will see lean kids from 13 to 16. They will gain, so हमारे मतलब हिंदी में बोलते हैं ककड़ी की तरह बड़ा हो रहा है, right? So it's absolutely normal for 13 to 16 years of age when they grow or gain height. Then comes the period where the muscle mass growth begins, which is again 15 to 18 years of age. But if you are concerned, we have physiotherapists with us who work with muscle training for this particular age. We don't go to adult physiotherapists because they don't understand the muscle capability of a child this age. And with little bit of strength training, he can definitely gain muscle mass, but I would not be worried. 13 to 15 is a height gain spurt for boys. So just make sure his energy levels are good. He's not feeling tired, lethargic. There is no back pain or knee pain. Then I'm absolutely okay. If back pain, knee pain, or energy levels are low, then definitely we need to break down his lifestyle.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Pariksha.
Yeah.
Friends, we are coming to the end of the session, and I'll just like to take a couple of minutes to share with you what we have got lined up in the next couple of days. So we have a session on teenage tantrums tomorrow, same time 5 p.m. In case you are interested in joining this session with Sharmila Pandey, who is CEO of Step Up Wellbeing and Step Up Parenting. Please type teenage tantrum TT in the chat box and we will share an invite with you for the session. And on Monday evening at 8 p.m. we have a book reading session on an awesome book, The Conscious Parent by Dr. Shefali. So please stay connected with us, join the Mindful Living community to know about the awesome sessions that we conduct. And we have launched this very awesome workshop on reparenting your inner child, which is starting on 16th of November. In case you are interested in having more details about this workshop, please type inner child IC in the chat box and our team will connect with you and share with you the details about this workshop. Connecting with your inner child is the best way to ensure joy, creativity, happiness, and success in your life. At times we put our inner child behind, and we just get so caught up in our daily routine of activities that we don't pay attention to our inner child. So in case you are interested in knowing about how to connect with your inner child, be playful, be happy, be joyful, be successful, please type IC in the chat box and we will share those details with you. And we now just like to take one or two last question or comment before we close the session for the day.
I think I was just replying to Rashi's question. So
Okay.
Yeah, so she mentioned the kid is telling that the kid is not feeling hungry from last 2 months. So my suggestion, Rashi, is that try liquid nutrition. Sometimes at this age, it could be an underlying infection or immunity trying to fight some infection or something like that, or sudden metabolic change. Just make sure you try liquid nutrition like smoothies, kanjis, rasam. They actually trigger our appetite. And if it is not taken care of in a month and a child is still complaining of zero appetite or no appetite, just check liver function test. Sometimes with the growth spurt, liver is a little sluggish at this age. Little bit of support on nutrition side, we can definitely take care of it.
That's such a scientific approach to nutrition, Pariksha, that we hear from you, which is also, you combine it with fun also, and psychology. So it's so interesting. Really appreciate your taking out the time and joining us, Pariksha. I know how busy you are. Really appreciate your taking out the time and doing this session for us. I urge everyone to connect with Pariksha. She has shared her email ID and phone number, and take benefit from the awesome plans that her company has put together, which are driven by machine learning and AI. And her advice is now being sought by countries outside India, UAE, UK, and hopefully, Pariksha, soon your enterprise will go global, and many people across the world will benefit from the awesome advice that you're offering. And we are so proud to have you as a member of the Mindful Living community.
Thank you so much. I need every blessing, every support, every motivation that I can get. And any time that I can support a fellow parent, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pariksha. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have an awesome weekend, and we see you 5 p.m. tomorrow. Again, on teenage tantrums.
Tomorrow will be very more stress-free subject.
Thank you. Thank you, Surya sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.